Hey everybody, today's lesson is all about TikTok ad creatives. Now, if you've been following me, you know that TikTok creatives is really my passion and really what I've built my business around. So I have a team of content creators, and every single week, my team of content creators is shooting TikTok ad content. I have a team of editors that cut it up into amazing TikTok ads, and I work with nearly 30 clients now, helping them with their TikTok ad creatives, all e-commerce, and these ad creatives have scaled to hundreds of thousands of dollars in spend. And I'm going to be sharing all of my secrets. Literally, this is the deck that I use to train my content creators, to train my editors. I'm really just laying it all out on the table in terms of the way that I like to edit ads, the best ad examples. And this is really going to be a huge value pack session for TikTok creative best practices that convert for ads. So I'm incredibly excited about this. I even had a member of my team who specializes in creating content help with some of these sections. So you'll see her pop in some of these videos here too, in terms of the tutorials and sharing some ad examples. So I'm really excited because this deck includes so many great examples that me and my team have made. So if you are looking for TikTok ad creatives and you can't be bothered doing it yourself, no worries. You can, of course, get in touch with me. I would love to work with you. But I'm going to tell you how to do it yourself and all the best practices. So let's dive in without further ado. So excited you're here. These are just some of the industries that I've worked on: food, beverage, home, beauty, fashion. And I've been doing UGC ad creative since 2018. So and for just some context, I need to back up. UGC means user generated content. So that means that you are sending your product to your customer or someone that looks like your customer, and they are giving a testimonial about your product. And that's really what TikTok ads boils down to at the end of the day. They are not produced in a studio most of the time. They're not super stylized. It is shot with an iPhone, and it's supposed to look like your customer is showing a review of their favorite product on TikTok. So I've been making these type of videos for clients for years now. And the last couple of years, I've really honed in on how to make the best creatives for TikTok. So let's dive in. So in this deck, I'm going to be going through filming best practices, editing for success, captions and text treatment, content types, examples, inspiration, and then more resources. It's a huge deck. Alrighty, let's start with filming UGC best practices. Now, this is a section that you can either share with content creators on your team. Maybe you've hired people in-house to shoot content for you. Maybe you're working with influencers or content creators and you want to make sure that they're filming things correctly. I would definitely send them this video and let them know all these tips and tricks that I'm about to share. Or if you yourself as a brand owner, or maybe you work in an agency and you're watching this and you want to learn how can I shoot the best content for my client and you're shooting it yourself, these are the tips and tricks that I train my content creators on. So the first question I get is, what type of camera should I use? And the most important thing when making TikTok content is that you're actually filming it with an iPhone. You don't want a fancy camera. You don't want to be in a studio. It should be shot on your iPhone and look very native. So an interesting stat I found is over 90% of TikTok content is actually filmed on a mobile device. And the whole thing with TikTok ads is that you want to blend in with the feed. You don't want to stand out as an ad. You want your content to look just like any other content that's on TikTok. So that means filming with your iPhone. Don't get expensive equipment or high def cameras. Like that will literally work against you. You're better off with your iPhone. Doesn't even have to be the latest iPhone. Or an Android. I have nothing against Android, maybe a little bit. So this is really important. When you are filming on your iPhone, and I've learned this the hard way with some of my content creators, when the video comes out a bit weird or grainy, the colors looked a bit off, they do not have the ability to stream in 4K on TikTok. So when you are filming, you want to make sure that you're going into your settings on your phone and then make sure that you're recording at 180 HD and 60 FPS with HDR turned off before filming. So your default iPhone settings may be different than this. And what happens is that when you upload it to TikTok, it will desaturate a lot of the colors because it's trying to convert HDR to non-HDR. Honestly, I am not a color expert, but I've learned from trial and error that this is actually what was causing some of my issues. So on YouTube, I found this great video called How to Turn Off HDR Video on Your iPhone. And these are the steps on how to do that. So make sure you do that before you start filming. Lighting. This is something I harp on my content creators on all the time. I would say lighting is like one of the most important things when you're filming your ad. I always prefer that my content creators shoot in natural golden light in front of a window. And this video that's playing in the background with no sound, I'm going to have all of these tutorials linked in the course. And so I didn't want to play them as I was talking. I really just wanted to talk off the cuff of my creative best practices. And since these tutorials are a bit more in depth, they're playing silently now, but they will be linked out so that you can watch them with sound and pause and all that good stuff. So, but that's just a little sneak peek of the tutorial that I send my content creators when I want them to shoot in good lighting. So out near a large window, outdoors, you don't want to be like in super direct sunlight because it might overexpose it. But as you can see from this great content in this preview, having great lighting can really make or break your TikTok ads. So film in golden lighting, as I like to call it, which is like 4 p.m., 5 p.m., stand near a window. That's going to be worth it. Don't film at night. Don't even try. So I wanted to show you some amazing lighting examples from my team. Like I said, I have a team of content creators where every week we're churning out TikTok ads for my clients. And this is some of the examples from my clients. And as you can see, we film in very bright light. It's very natural. It's golden. And these ads perform a lot better than ads that are not shot in golden lights. So make sure to shoot it in good lighting. So here's some good examples of natural light as well. One of them is filmed outdoors, one of them also near a big window. And as you can see, the quality of the TikToks just exponentially increase when you are in really good lighting. So I just have to harp on this point so much. And something I talk to my content creators about all the time is like, I send them these examples. I send them these exact examples. And I'm like, we need to make sure the lighting is like this. Do not send me content unless it's in bright, good lighting. That is something I'm such a huge stickler on. And I think it's so important for TikTok ad performance. So there are those times where it doesn't make sense to have artificial, or it doesn't make sense to have natural lighting, and you may need an artificial light source. So I would say in that case, use a ring light or a bright vanity light. Avoid backlighting because that can make the product look really dark, or overhead because it can create some shadowing. So especially for beauty products, like as you saw in some of these examples, I work with some beauty brands and it makes sense to shoot it in a bathroom. Maybe there's not good lighting in there, or you're doing like a close-up of your makeup on your face, then it can make more sense to use a ring light. So as long as it's a natural looking light source and makes sense for the context. Environment. So this is something I also train my content creators on for TikTok. Your filming location should always align with the product you're advertising and try to make it distraction free. So if you have a lot of products in the background of your ads, or like logos, which is even worse, or bright colors, or things that distract from the product, that's going to hurt your conversion rate. So I always say, like, especially for clothing brands, like try on the clothes between like a plain wall or a stylized space that's like free from like messes, dog toys. It's funny because if you sometimes like these little tips, like don't have a dog toy in the background or a mess. I work with so many content creators and influencers, and sometimes if you don't say these things, you'll be surprised with what comes back in the content. So it's always good to just reiterate these points with content creators. And then it kind of just like lays in the back of their mind of like, oh, I need good lighting. I need to clean up. I need like a nice clean space behind me. Even the professionals that have like hundreds of thousands of followers, I think sometimes forget these little tips and tricks. So for example, we also have other food related clients. So we always say like, make sure that you're cleaning your kitchen, you're using a tripod. That's something that also really bothers me when content creators come back and the footage is really shaky, especially if they're like cooking something or doing something else with their other hand, which causes their other hand to shake. So I always recommend to have a tripod on hand for steady filming. And also, sound is so important in TikTok ads. Like the best ads have a voiceover. So someone talking over the ad saying like, things TikTok made me buy, part 57. I found this amazing coffee brand on TikTok and I want to try. So that type of voiceover. And if you are working with a content creator and maybe they are recording this voiceover in the car or on the train or with kids screaming in the background, like I said, some of this stuff seems obvious, but if you don't tell content creators this, they may get it wrong. And they have gotten it wrong for me many times. And so this is what I train them on. I say, make sure that you are not recording your voiceovers during a rainstorm in the car, near your washing machine. You want this sound to be crisp as this mic that's coming through. Like, yes, they can record it on their iPhone, and I'm going to be going through some voiceover tips, but I would say this is an important point to reiterate for when they're recording their voiceovers. Frame. Now, keep a steady or consistent frame for higher quality content that's easier to view and follow. So especially for unboxing experiences, like I said, when you're using your hand for one thing and you're going to be filming the product with your other hand, that's a good time to bring out your tripod. A tripod allows you to keep a consistent frame. It's not going to be shaking all over, hands free, so that you can use both hands when you're unboxing a product. It just looks so much better. So recipes, time lapses, there's so many good applications for having a tripod. So I always have that on hand. Another really important thing to tell content creators is that you always want them filming in vertical. So TikTok is on a phone screen and it's viewed like this way, vertical, not landscape or horizontal. So make sure that when you are filming, your phone is like this and not that. Cool. So just to reiterate one of the main points here, our goal in all of this is to create content that is authentic and doesn't look too much like an ad. So what that means is utilizing TikTok's native features in the app to edit your ads, and you utilize those like green screens, different effects, so that it doesn't look like an ad. It looks just like the organic platform. So one thing that I do when I create content is I create a fake TikTok account solely for ad production. So I have my regular TikTok account that I sign out of, and when I want to create a TikTok ad, I create a new account. I have my fake account. You can call it like TikTok ads, Savannah 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever it is. And under this account, you can create and publish ads and then download them watermark free. So let me just share the process a bit. So what's going to happen is you edit the ad right on TikTok so that you can use TikTok text, TikTok native effects. The problem with editing on TikTok is that it's very difficult to download it unless you want to do a screen recording, but then you're going to have some of the editing tools in that screen recording, so it doesn't look very good. So what I found is the best way to go about this is upload the ad to your fake TikTok ad account or to your fake TikTok profile. So actually publish it. Immediately go to this website called musicaldown.com. And when you go to this website, you're going to post the link to your post. So your TikTok video, if you paste that link, it will allow you to download that video from your TikTok without the watermark. Because when you're running ads, you don't want the TikTok watermark in that with the username. If you just download it normally on your phone, you're going to get that watermark in there. If you try it, you'll see exactly what I mean. So this is the way that I've kind of gotten around it. Little workaround is publishing the ad to a fake account, going to Musical Down, downloading the ad without the watermark, and then either deleting it or set the privacy to only you. Unless you really want the public seeing your ads, which I don't, because these are all made for my clients and I'm just posting these solely for the fact that I'm going to download them and I'm going to immediately delete them from this fake TikTok profile, or you can set it to only me. So that's another way to get around that. So that's how I like to edit in TikTok and download it and then use it for ads. And then you can use it for Facebook, Instagram too, because it's not going to have that TikTok watermark. So another thing to keep in mind is the person/model. If you're starring in the video, your emotions should reflect the message you want to portray. So make sure when you're using reactions to be authentic in your emotions. If you're doing a voiceover, this is something that's also sometimes difficult for creators, is just being conversational, cheery, excited. Sometimes you don't want it to be too monotone. I've had creators come back where it's a little monotone. So giving them examples of good voiceovers like, hey, I just found this product and I loved it. I loved it because blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. So I would say finding the balance between like being cheery and being clear and happy, but at the same time, I like to tell content creators, act like you're talking to your best friend or your sister about a product that you love. At the end of the day, it should sound authentic. That's the most important. It shouldn't sound robotic and like an ad. And it also shouldn't sound monotone, like you're reading off a script. So find that balance is key. I put this point in here because sometimes, like I said, creators sometimes struggle with this. I say, try as hard as you can not to sound like a commercial. TikTok users can sniff out inauthenticity very quickly. So if your TikTok sounds like a commercial, they're going to swipe away and they're going to be uninterested. It really should sound as if a customer is just talking about their favorite product. And then also, another thing that brands ask me, like when I work with content creators, do I provide a script? Do I kind of let them go off the cuff? So I found the best formula for this is I do write a script out for them. I brief out what shots I want, what script do I need, but then I also want them to like add their own flair too and like what they love about the product. So I'll have them read the lines of their script and get all the shots I need, but I also encourage them like, if there's something else you love about the product, or if you would say this in a different way, like maybe the way I wrote the script like doesn't feel authentic to you, like to make it your own and to say it in a way that is conversational to you. So that's something that I like to encourage content creators to do. Transitions. So this is a very important part about TikTok ads, and something that's really going to contribute to your TikTok ad success is how good your transitions are. So like in this example, you should incorporate fun, eye-catching transitions when filming to achieve a native feel and to show the process or variety of options. So it's great for showing like different colors of the jackets, like in this example. It could be great for showing a before and after, jumping into different outfits, makeup looks. So there's a lot of different ways you can use transitions. And so just a couple of them are snapping, jumping, spinning, to change clothes or show a new product before or after. And then another thing why it's important to have a tripod is to achieve these seamless transitions on TikTok. Use a tripod to keep your phone in the exact same position while filming so that the transition comes out as clean as possible. And then another thing, like when my content creators are doing like try on hauls with clothing, what's really helpful is if we put like a little piece of tape on the ground so that when they're jumping and to change their clothes and come back for the transition, then you could just go to that piece of tape on the ground and be in that exact same spot. So that's a little tip for you. And then another one is like screen tap, which is like when you cover the camera and then you come back, kind of like that, to show like different products like coming in and out. That's a popular one for transitions. It's like covering the camera with your phone and then coming out and then showing the product. So here's some fun transition examples. Some of them are like snapping. Some of them are that hand popping over, the super zoom in and changing the color. So I think that there's a lot of fun ways to play with transitions. And one of the best ways to learn about transitions is just going on TikTok, like becoming a student of the platform, like I always say, and seeing what trends are native to TikTok, and then utilizing those trends that you find organically, just scrolling through your For You page and using those same transitions on your TikTok ads. There's also some amazing TikTok profiles out there that specifically give tutorials for TikTok transitions. So I would definitely search the TikTok transition hashtag on TikTok to learn in detail how to do some of these more advanced transitions too. So when I work with content creators, there's certain clips in the ads that I always make sure they have. So one of those things is showing the product arriving in packaging at your front door. I think that's such a compelling clip to include, of actually showing the product arrive. You pick up the box, you unbox it, opening the product. People on TikTok love unboxing experiences. So I would highly recommend to use those in your TikTok ads. Of course, like showing the product in use. So in this example for soda, we're going to show her actually trying it, her reaction, if it's makeup, applying it, clothes, trying it on. So it is really important to show the product in use. And then of course, the most important thing is a testimonial. So the person talking, most likely it's going to be like selfie style, like to the camera, them talking to the camera and saying what they love about the product, or it can be in a voiceover testimonial of showing what they like about the product while having the video be of the product. And then another really great clip to show is like actually like browsing the online store for the product. So I'll include like a screen record of someone on the website, or I'll film my laptop of someone like clicking on the site and like adding it to cart, showing like a web scroll of the site. Those do really well on TikTok. So these are kind of like the main types of shots that you're going to need for creating good TikTok ads for e-commerce brands. So the most important thing in your TikTok ad is the first 3 seconds. So what I always like to think about is like, what is the hook? So capturing scroll stopping hook, starting with an ad, the weird or unique clip to harness attention can entice users to stop scrolling and keep watching. So some examples of these can be like long pause, excess product coming out, macro close-ups, unexpected shock reactions, drop product in reverse. One of my favorite editing tools, which I'll be mentioning in this deck, is called CapCut. It is an iPhone app. I'm not sure if it's on Android, but there is a reverse feature in there. So you can start an ad, for instance, like for one of my phone case brands, we started the ad with the phone like falling out of their hand and then like reversing back into their hand. So the reverse effect is a really great scroll stopper to make people just stop and think in that first 3 seconds. Because we really only have a couple of seconds to capture people's attention. These TikTok ads are only between 15 and 30 seconds long. But really in that first 2 seconds, people are making the decision whether they're going to keep watching or if they're going to scroll away. So making sure that that first 2 seconds is extremely eye-catching is really the most important thing. Another thing I talked about earlier was the importance of voiceovers. So when I'm working with content creators, if they're not making it in TikTok the way I showed of having the Vega account, uploading it and downloading it, if you are choosing to edit this on your computer, on like Adobe, for instance, if you're working with the editor for TikTok ads, or if you're doing what I do, which is in CapCut, we love using CapCut. So what we'll do is we'll edit it in CapCut to make it look like it was edited in TikTok, because CapCut has a lot of the features that the TikTok ads editing platform has, but it allows us to do a bit more granular edits and such. I find CapCut easier to edit on than on the TikTok app. So what I like to do to edit in CapCut is I actually create a voice recording in my voice notes and record a voice memo, and then I can share that voice memo to CapCut or any editing app that you choose to work on. So that's a way to do it. So to get a voiceover, you're either going to have the content creator look at the camera and record her voice of her giving their testimonial, or if you don't want any shots of someone like talking to the camera and it makes more sense to just have the visual be of the product, then make sure to get a voiceover and record it as a voice memo. I think that's the easiest way to do it. So here is kind of what you need. So I have some Amazon finds, some of my favorites. One of them is a gooseneck holder for a tripod, which is great for recipes, flat lays, a ring light. That's a must for all content creators. And especially if you don't have that bright natural lighting and you're in a bathroom, like I said, a setting that doesn't have that bright window, then a ring light is a must. And then an adjustable tripod with the remote, ideally, so that you can just click record and then it starts recording, then you can do your things. So these are the 3 things I have on hand besides my iPhone to record my TikTok ads. Now let's talk about editing. Now that we've talked in depth about the content and like the best practices for content creators when they're shooting your ads, now let's talk about the actual editing of the user-generated content for TikTok ads. So something that's super important is keeping your ads under 30 seconds. So you want to make sure that you're saying enough in your ad to get people enticed to go to your site and enough about the product. But at the same time, knowing that ultimately people are going to go to your website, and then that's where you can really do most of the explaining. The ad is really just to get people's attention and to give them a reason to go to your site. So you don't have to say every single product benefit in 30 seconds. In fact, it's much better if you don't. So why 30 seconds or less? One good thing about TikTok ads is that TikTok ad creative works really well on Facebook and Instagram. And in particular, it works amazing on Instagram Reels, which is no surprising. On Instagram Reels, you can only have less than 30 seconds for your ads. So if you do want to multi-purpose this content and use it for your TikTok ads, you should definitely use it for your Instagram and Facebook ads and Reels. So make sure it's under 30 seconds. And we find that the conversion rate is better on TikTok when it's under 30 seconds. So also Instagram stories, which are typically 15 seconds long. But if it's 30 seconds, then you can cut it into 2 parts and do like an Instagram story carousel. And then also, I think keeping it under 30 seconds really forces you to focus on what's important. So when it's more than 30 seconds, you really have too much fluff, or you're probably repeating yourself or saying something that's not necessary. So being concise is probably the hardest part about making TikTok ads, but it will keep people's attention and it'll make them more likely to convert if you can be concise and cut out any fluff. And when I'm creating TikTok ads, I like to repurpose them for Instagram and Facebook too. So when I make TikTok ads with my team members, I create it in 9:16, which is like the vertical tall format. So like I can run it on TikTok, of course, and Instagram stories. But I also like to cut it down to 4:5, which is like a little bit taller than a square, but it can run on Facebook feeds and Instagram feeds. So I don't like using 1-to-1 ratio like a square, because the 4:5 takes up more real estate in the feed, like on your actual phone screen, and converts better than a 1:1. So when I'm making content, I like to have both ratios. But for TikTok ads, you're going to be using that 9:16 ratio. But if you want to repurpose it for Facebook and Instagram, which I recommend you do, then you're going to want to crop it to 4:5. And you can use your iPhone to crop it to 4:5. They have when you go to photos and you click on a video in the actual Photos app and you click crop, you can have the option to crop it to 4:5 there. So keeping in mind the TikTok text safe zones. So unfortunately, TikTok doesn't give you a ton of safe options in terms of like where to lay the text. But what's important is that you keep the text in the middle. So in that green area on the screen, that is where your TikTok text won't get cut off in terms of having those native overlays like the captions or buttons. So you don't want any of that over your text. So whether you're designing the ads or you're giving it to a designer, it's really important to show them that you're going to want to have your text in this green safe zone. Also, you want to make sure that the product or the main person in the video, like their face, is like in that green zone. All the most important things in your video should be in that frame. So here are the apps that I use when I create TikTok ads. CapCut, number 1, that is like the best app ever for making TikTok ads. I love that app. But I want to give you some more recommendations too, because I do have a lot of content creators in my network, and a lot of them do their own editing. So I always ask them like, what apps do you like? And I always test them out. These are the ones that I've tested out that are also really good. InShot, Splice, Video Day. But my heart is with CapCut. And then TikTok, I put that in there because, like I said, you can actually edit your ads in the TikTok app, post to a fake profile, download it via musicaldown.com. And then Instagram Reels. So that's another thing that I've been experimenting with lately, and I have a tutorial on in this course as well, is utilizing TikTok Reels as an editing app. So in TikTok Reels, you can add on bubble text and cut your clips together. And some of my best performing TikTok ads were actually edited in Instagram Reels. So that's another app to play with. Absolutely worth checking out, is editing it in TikTok Reels, downloading it, and then using it for your TikTok ads. So I have a CapCut tutorial that I'll also link out. But like I said, and one of the reasons it's also number 1 is that CapCut was actually created by ByteDance, so the parent company of TikTok, which is why they include a lot of the editing that is native to TikTok in CapCut. So What's great about it is you can adjust clip speeds, reverse clips, add voiceovers, add music, add animations, masking. There's so much you can do in CapCut, and it's so easy to use. Best app ever. And one of the things I like to do in CapCut is transitions. So I have a little tutorial here of how to do that. If you tap that like vertical line in between clips, then you can access all the transition options in between your clips. So some of my favorite that I like is like a left swipe or a pull in, pull out transition, a glare, a swirl. I would say like be moderate with your transitions. Like you don't want too many transitions to where it just looks like cheesy and tacky. But there are ways to appropriately use transitions in between clips, like a swipe left or a pull in, that makes it look really cool and eye-catching. So I like to add some transitions in between clips. And then TikTok as an editing tool is awesome. So once you create your fake or alternative profile, you're going to upload your video that already has your audio and sound track. And I like to add disclosures on there saying like, those appearing in this video have been compensated for their time, testimonial, and image. That's just a legal thing that my agency includes. But you can put on any text overlays. And then another thing you can do is start a screen recording to preview the ad. If you want to like this is more if you're an agency, if you want to send it to your client or for your boss before you actually publish it to your TikTok account, then what I'll do is I'll create a screen recording, send it to my client and be like, is this approved? And then once it's approved, that's when I'll publish it and I'll download it using Musical Down, because once you publish it, you can't go back and re-edit it. So that's kind of the downfall with TikTok ads and why I like to do this fake profile method and why I take a screen recording of the video before I actually publish it. I get it approved first by the client. So because once you publish it out of a draft, you can't go back and re-edit it. So that's one of the benefits of CapCut is you can always go back and re-edit things if you want to change out text or music or whatever. If you edit it in TikTok, once it's published, it's done. Like your work is lost. So in terms of like going back and easily editing stuff. So take a screen recording, send it to your boss, send it to whoever needs to approve your TikTok ads. If you do have one of those people, once they approve that screen recording, then go ahead and publish it and download it using Musical Down. Captioning and text treatment golden rules. So having text on your ad is so important. Assume the viewer is watching it with sound off. So when people are watching your ads, they should know exactly what's going on, what's the most important thing about your product without sound. So also good for accessibility for those who can't hear. Even though it is a sound on platform, ads that have proper captioning are favored by the algorithm as well. So when you are creating your ads, these are the 3 questions you should ask yourself. Number 1, can you understand the concept of the video without sound? So you should be able to watch the entire ad and understand everything that's going on without sound. Are my captions legible on the screen? So making sure that the size is big enough, the duration, you don't want the text going too fast. That's something that other content creators have seen them do, is where the text is only on the screen for a second. It's like people don't have time to read. They don't know what you're saying as well as you do. So give them a couple of seconds to read the text on the screen. And of course, most importantly, are my captions taking away from the creative or supporting it? So you don't want to over caption, have too many text overlays, too many captions to where it's distracting or unnecessary. So you want to make sure it's always an additive, like it's a good thing. It's not like distracting or taking away from the main focus of the product, because not all ads even need captions. Some of the ad concepts we do, it's actually better, especially if it's a product that doesn't require a lot of explaining. Like if I'm just showing a really beautiful piece of jewelry, like a close-up of a ring, for example, maybe I just need like one simple line of a caption or none at all. Maybe the purpose of the ad is just to showcase how beautiful it is. So don't overdo it, the captions. The examples I show will show like the appropriate amount of captions of being able to understand the video without sound, but not overdoing it. So here are my favorite text overlays that look most native. So outline text, rounded bubble text. You can mix and match, but I'll show some examples. Utilizing the native fonts from TikTok and Instagram Reels. And then another one is speed read text, which looks really cool. So I'll show you guys that. So outline text is simply white text with a black outline. You can do this in CapCut, which is why I love CapCut, because you can do these types of TikTok text that look native to the platform, or you can edit it in TikTok and you'll have this text available to you. So I love outline text. I've seen it work super well in ads. Bubble text is also great. You can achieve bubble text by editing in TikTok or by editing in Reels. One thing I hate, and I've seen hurt conversion rate, is when you stack text, like in the example number 2. So just make sure not to stack it like that and split the lines up. Another thing that's great for TikTok is mixing the fonts. So I like to mix between outline text and bubble text, just to kind of switch it up and emphasize certain words. So don't be afraid to mix and match. I find in the ad creatives I've made that's on the screen that actually adds a lot to the ad by showing some different font treatments. So these are the main text fonts that you're going to want to use. You can find these fonts in Adobe or download them online. It's Proxima Nova Semi-Bold, Kaufman Bold Script, and Georgia Bold. So these are the native texts to TikTok and the ones that you're going to be wanting to use in your ad creatives to look most native to the platform. You can also import these fonts to CapCut, which is what I personally do. You can download them and import them. Like I said, CapCut is the best. And one of those great things about it is that you can import fonts. So I import these fonts when I'm editing in CapCut. And last but not least, speed read text. Now, this one isn't necessarily native to TikTok, but I found this to work really well in my clients' TikTok ads, like having one word at a time on the screen or just a couple words, very bold. So you can achieve this in CapCut or if you're editing on your computer in Adobe or Premiere. So just having each word be a fraction of the second. I've seen this work really well for TikTok ads. So I'm going to pause right here because I've just been talking for nearly 40 minutes now, but I'm going to come back and I'm going to record the best ad examples for TikTok. So I hope you enjoyed this session and stay tuned for the next chapter for all my creative examples.